South Africa commemorates August as Women's Month, a tribute to thousands of women who marched to the Union buildings on 9th August 1956 in protest against the extension of pass laws to women. This historic march was a turning point in the role of women in the struggle for freedom and society at large. Since that eventful day, women from all walks of life became equal partners in the struggle for a non-racial and non-sexist South Africa. But have those ideals been realized in the 21 years of democracy, particularly in the film industry?
I'll answer that very truthfully. Enormously challenging. I think women have to deal with a hell of a lot of challenges. The thing is, I think sometimes your creative talents get questioned, or your vision, and sometimes your technical abilities get questioned. And I don't think it's. I think we have challenges in the industry that we have to overcome. I think it happens. It is improving, although I think it's there.
Despite some significant strides towards equality that have been made in the industry, women still get the short end of the stick.
You need to work hard as a female director when you do that pitch trying to get that job. You're not going to be trusted with the big jobs. You're going to constantly be fighting for equal pay. And it's hard to come by.
For many, though, the holy grail of filmmaking remains that of directing.
Women in general as well, it's not just black women. Women in general, like when you look at DOPs and you look at directors, you don't have a lot of women in that industry. But you look at other roles and you look at, if you look at production designers, if you look at producers, there's a lot of female producers and a lot of black female producers as well. So I think it's more about when we look at specific roles and who fills those roles.
Being an associate professor at the University of the Witwatersrand's Department of Film and Television in Johannesburg, and having completed her doctorate at NYU, Impunity director Jyoti Mistry feels this is not a struggle unique to South Africa only.
I think women in the film industry, if there is such an industry, the way I see it, the problems for women filmmakers are the same all over the world. They have to overcome gender prejudices in Hollywood as they have to encounter gender prejudices here. Racial prejudices have to be encountered and overcome in North American practice as they do here. In Europe, it's the same. I think the point about being a woman director is I'd like to imagine that there's something about the celebration of that kind of embodied experience that maybe makes the way in which women make films and tell stories somewhat different.
Harry Mackenzie's 2014 Cold Harbour do showcase the talent and competency of female filmmakers, but the numbers of women directors are still few and far between.
How many female directors, South African directors, do we know? We can count them on one hand. There's not many. So it's not an industry used to having a female director in a position of authority or driving a vision. So we're still adapting to that. I think I might be the fourth or fifth one making a feature film. So it's a slow process.
It was touch and go for Golden Globe nominee Ava DuVernay when Selma was snubbed at the Oscars, despite a world-class effort. DuVernay walked away with only 2 nominations, one of which was Best Picture, and was overlooked as Best Director.
I think what she's been able to accomplish is amazing. I mean, in a short time as well. And I think, more importantly, I'm really happy that people are aware of her and aware of her talent. And at some point, it's going to stop being about whether she's female or black. It's about that she's a filmmaker and that she's an artist and that what she's doing is just good quality work.
But it's not all doom and gloom, as there are those positive voices who say South Africa has a lot more to offer female filmmakers than their international counterparts.
In South Africa, for me, it's been really, I think, not as difficult. I'm not sure in the rest of the world. It's probably because I think we are still very much a growing industry and a new industry. So everybody's still trying to discover themselves and their voices and learning. You know, there isn't really, you can't say that there's the hierarchy and the sort of masters and people who have made sort of great films and have huge experience. So because of that, I think there's an enormous opportunity for women to enter the industry.
It is a very male-dominated environment, and there is this sense of, oh, let me help you, you know, as opposed to the kind of respect that a male director commands on set immediately.
But at the end of the day, whatever your opinion of the state of women in film, it can stand to be improved.
I think there's an important political way in which to talk about the way in which women experience challenges in filmmaking, and I think that political gesture is really important to overcome the prejudices.
And if you have made the brave choice to be a filmmaker, there's just one piece of advice from Hatchet, our director.
I think you just have to do it. For me, it was, I knew no one was going to give me the chance. Also, it was incredibly difficult. So I say, whatever it takes, just do it.